Here's our journey of three friends who started off as colleagues.
Respect, both professionally and personally. Colleagues who are respected in both their everyday work and as people who are just honest, straightforward, and supportive. Jen and Kristen are the people you want to be surrounded by, and I did just that as the newbie on the block. They push you to do better professionally, and they just make you want to be a better friend.
You know that phrase, whatever happens in Vegas? Jen and Lauren are my Vegas friends, free of judgment and grounded in trust.
When I think about Kristen and Lauren, there are moments in time that stand still, and maybe not in the moment, but when reflecting, I knew that we'd be friends. Enjoying them both professionally and personally makes it fun to go to work every day. We are Jen,
Kristen,
and Lauren, and we found each other to be a breath of fresh air.
Hello, and welcome to Breath of Fresh Ed, a podcast with purpose, focused on education topics for today, tomorrow, and always, with Jen,
Kristen,
and Lauren. Thanks for joining us for episode 2, Maintaining Connection, Social Solidarity while remaining physically distant during the COVID-19 pandemic. So what does that really mean? Well, by definition, human connection is an energy exchange between people who are paying attention to one another. So it's really finding ways to stay connected and feed your energy with those that we are unable to see face to face. We want to take this episode and discuss ways to maintain that connection in this virtual world. So the first topic that we wanted to bring up was using your camera to connect visually with people through things like Zoom or Google Meets. This is something that we've been using in our roles on a day-to-day basis, and we really find the experience to be a lot better when participants have their camera turned on. It really does change the entire experience.
You know, Lauren, it kind of reminds me of when I see like younger kids walking down the street and they're like FaceTiming their friends. And I used to think to myself, like, gosh, I would never FaceTime my friends. I still don't FaceTime my friends. Like, I only FaceTime my mom when my mom wants to see my kids. But like, maybe they were onto something, right? Like seeing each other face to face, talking and FaceTiming. And I don't know, like being in this pandemic and being in these meetings, like has really opened my eyes to that and like the importance of like being able to see someone in a meeting.
I've noticed when the meetings are probably, I don't know, maybe like less than maybe 8 people that cameras are on. But when it turns to be like a big like staff meeting or at a certain point, which I'm curious to know what that number would be, cameras kind of turn off. But I also feel like it's an out to turn off your camera. Like if I don't want to engage or I'm not connecting to the conversation, it's so easy just to kind of turn myself off in a meeting and not even be present.
And like the bigger the number, like the more likely you could be like a wallflower and kind of hide in the background.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just kind of check out and not really, offer anything to the conversation. It is just almost an easy way out.
Well, and it also feels like when you're talking to a computer screen, when you don't see actual faces or like the human like interaction and reaction of people, like, well, what are they nodding at me? What are they doing? What are they thinking? Because I can't see, I can't hear because everyone mutes themselves. Like their voices. So I don't know. It's kind of ironic that we're talking about this on a podcast too, not being able to see people.
I know. I was just thinking about that. But I was also thinking like, I mean, we're seeing each other, so we're kind of feeding off of each other's energy too, like affirming when we're talking and whatnot. So that's kind of nice and would be kind of funny if we didn't have our cameras on and we're trying to do this. But I also thought like, this podcast brings me to our next topic, which is like social media and like connecting with communities of like-minded people, and you can choose who those people are and you can choose those messages that you want to follow. And I love the push for like social media being also like an area where you can learn too. And you get to choose what you learn, like I know Twitter, everything I'm reading on Twitter now is like, there's so much professional learning out there for educators and coaches and just everybody.
Yeah, Twitter's definitely been, peace of mind during this pandemic while we're at home for work. It's been a great way to connect with educators and see who's doing what's working for people. It really is, the breath of fresh ed in terms of professional learning right now, because I feel like in some instances I'm learning more from these people that I'm making connections with than I do, in other opportunities of professional learning.
I think it was Kristen at one point said something like, we scroll through, or she heard that we scroll through like 300 feet of social media posts, which is like one football field.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy just to scroll, but actually like taking the time to make a connection with what we're scrolling through, I think is so, well, at least for me, so important right now. Because otherwise I'm just like reading a headline and going past it. But now with all the time I have on my hands, actually like engaging with the community, through Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. And I've let myself like ignore my like weekly screen updates that I get on my phone. Like your screen time is increased by 14%.
Who cares?
Like, who cares? We're in a pandemic right now and we're all quarantined at home. So if it's only 14%, that's actually kind of a win, I think.
Totally.
Yeah. So I think social media is just a great way, for me at least, it's been an outlet to like connect intellectually with people if I want, and socially with people, and learn just how everyone's kind of getting through this, which is nice.
I've also seen a lot of social media posts showing appreciation for people, like whether it be like the healthcare workers, or I think I saw a hashtag today, like thank a teacher, especially with Teacher Appreciation Week coming up. And so there's just a need to show like small random acts of kindness right now during this time, whether it's just like connecting with someone on the phone, like actually hearing their voice, not text messages, or I don't know, just showing people that we appreciate them and we're thinking about them right now. I think it's important.
And everyone's just been so kind. I know I say this and repeat this like every meeting that we have with work, is just, I appreciate everyone being so kind right now. Whether you're at the grocery store and, please and thank you for doing what you're doing and being brave, and, our first responders. Everyone has just been so kind, and it just changes the energy of everything. It makes us, feel like, yes, we are doing enough. Everyone's doing the best they can. So it's really been, and I think, an important piece that's helping us get through this right now.
Yeah. And I mean, just going back to that quote that Lauren said at the beginning of this episode, when she said, human connection is an energy exchange between people who are paying attention to one another. I mean, just what you said too, Jen, virtual cards, random acts of kindness, like just paying attention and showing appreciation for each other and just supporting each other, I think could go a long way, especially now.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Plus, Lauren found this really cool idea. Where did you find it, Lauren? The virtual wrapping paper?
You're actually the one that gave me the idea. I swear you said something about it. I'm crediting you.
I don't know why, because I did not come up with that.
Well, whatever you said, it made me go searching to look at some apps or different sites that we could virtually wrap digital gifts. So like if you did something like a word art board for Teacher Appreciation Week, you could actually virtually wrap it. So there's a bunch of different, apps and sites out there that you could do this with, but it's just something extra to feel like teachers are actually unwrapping something for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So I think our breath of fresh ed, wouldn't you guys agree? Our three main takeaways are connecting visually, social media, and like finding your community and finding people, and those like-minded people who connect with you, and showing appreciation and gratitude.
So as we close out, we'd like to invite you to share what's your breath of fresh ed to maintain connections during this time. Share your ideas with us on breathofreshed.com or use the hashtag breathofreshed.